Unfortunately, I'm not able to get it all that's channeling, but the Mercury retrograde is coming. Mercury is heading towards the 27th degree, at which time it'll go retrograde. And I have Mercury at 28 degrees cardinal. We're looking at the cardinal signs being affected by the Mercury retrograde. That the cardinal signs is Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. But pretty much everybody is affected with by the Mercury retrograde, like I call directly, um, because of the way that it's going to go clear. It went through the whole. Um, it's at its retrograde shadow right now, starting at 16, and so everybody's my Libra generation. I was trying to explain how we are activating, and I'm here to tell you as see, a lot of narcissists don't like when you say you're a leader. See, this is the thing is they play. I don't want to get stuck on talking about narcissists, the low lives that are stuck on a glitch. They think that you're in competition, that you're the same as them, and it's just a mind game. You want to win, and it's an ego trip, and you're trying to fill your ego bowl and run on that. It's like no, some people are doing truth here, and they're creating a nice life with that, and there's and involves the environment, or you can say and or reality, what's surrounding you, and um, what I've been doing in my neighborhood. It's been a piping up. It's very natural. It's like, well, no, it's time. You don't shit on the people that have been here longer than you, who actually live in the intention. I'm sorry, but they've made it. They've made it to the mountains, and it's just time to have an easy life and relax. And you know what? If that seems outlandish to some people, say, well, what planet do you live on? I'm living in intention here. Why do you make it up to the mountains? You know what? So, um, living amongst just realizing what's happening around me more and more as far as the human ecology, that's it's worse than desert. Like it's dangerous. At least in a desert, you might see God that says, at least eat this stink bug that's crawling here and drink your sweat. I don't know, but there isn't even sweat available for you, and it's like water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. In the ecology of narcissists out there that are sick. See, all I've done, and it's hard to tell who's who, but you see, it's a trip if you look at the truth and reality. And I don't want to dwell on this. I didn't really want to talk about this um, because it's always feeling it's looking like a narcissist always trying to be in the right. And this is one of the conversations we need to have. It's like, no, if there are two very different types of human accomplishments here, saying it loosely, it's not human. Just say if there are two types here, which there are. Um, I've talked about it a lot, and I'm not necessarily talking about gender roles of gender, although science is looking at the imperfection of the organism, which I say it's a perfect thing. It's kind of an obvious if you look at really how to work it. That um, both men and women aren't giving birth to children. Women do that, and through the plasmatic field, which is an information field surrounding her, and it's interacting with whatever is growing. See, this is a very scientific fact about the egg. It's something that's like, well, they're not quite telling us about this morphogenic field, but if a man was born to a man, then he'll be automatically installed with his everything he needs to know about himself as like a literal scientific apparatus that was created by a creator that says you have a function here. Um, Setting that aside, women are having kids to both. They're giving birth to both men and women, and see the daughters are taking. They have the advantage, and this is not a competition here, but this is just what's happening. And you can open it up and look at it more. Why is it made like this? Um, But I don't want to get into it too much, like right now, because we're going back to the bearded woman scene over there, and it's like, why are they? And what's missing now? I say it's that woman spectrum. Basically, in general, the the feminine side of even the male side. It's really the true intelligence, right? Our sensitivity, our intuitive way about us, our emotionality, our sensitivity, uh, our ability to move in compassion, um, mainly for self, you know. But there is a balance, right? There's the masculine and feminine. There's the ability to aggressively pursue and keep things in line so that your well-beings are maintained. And so, God, you know, the science of possibly starting a human civilization, we can point it out. We can just point it out. Well, no, there's a lot of evidence. And because of programming, you'll never know the difference except for if you start thinking out of the box and say, no, look at the difference of how it could be over here. Of like many things we can talk about. Like right now, I need to just get some breakfast, and if it was really nourishing, it wouldn't be so hard to just come up with a simple fucking to repeat the math that you see. And it's not always just numbers. Boy, you're going to get numb doing that. That's the easiest thing to do. We're talking about how, um, what is happening here. I was trying to tell you about the science behind men and women being here. And I'm going to drop it off here, just quitting while I'm ahead. But the main thing that's going to keep coming up within society is, see, something is not going to really back down anymore, which is, I think it's actually our need to like survive our well-beings. It's like it's getting to the wire. You know, there's a lot of illness. The organism is dying. It's diseased and sick. And when it gets that way, an alarm goes off, and the part that knows how to be well or is semi well-being is going to stand up and go, "Excuse me," and it's going to start doing something. And it could mean that your neighbor is going to say, "Can you please? What is that? Do you realize it stinks? There's a toxic thing." Willie, you guys still use dryer sheets and toxic soaps like Tide and Armor Hammer and stuff. Stop it. You don't know, but your system is being stressed out by that. There's something, I'm sure you got a false diagnosis and they didn't tell you. Will you stop using toxic shit and stop eating the shit you're fast? Stop eating for 2 weeks. Take it down to bones. You want to get rid of your illness? Do this. Replace whatever you eat with pure medicinal foods. Vinegar is a medicinal food. Salt is a medicinal food. Onions are a medicinal food. Garlic is highly medicinal. All of the herbs, the tops of carrots, um, all of the plants. Stop eating animals. It's fucking gross from where it's coming from and all that. Oh my God. And this is what's coming next. Babes, I'm sorry, I don't mean to get such a emotionality, but it's what's needed. Passion and feeling. You can't stop a human being from being a human being, but that's what we're getting out there. The narcissistic society says, as soon as you show emotion and raise your voice, which is like, just raise my voice. And now you're taking it away because you can't handle an emotion. You people don't qualify to be in positions of power. And this is what I need to express. I talked to a sheriff the other day that I'm pretty sure this is what I'm dealing with. These people that are in the position of power to protect the public or whatever they're doing, if they don't, in general, say like doctors, people that claim to be in a position of power to right the population into a harmonious thing, supposedly, if they don't know, if they don't look healthy themselves, you can't trust that. These people are coming to me to try to explain about how my conduct should not be this certain way, because I'm complaining about my well-being. And I asked him, I said, what do you do about it? How do I get a restraining order on the first attempts on my life here? It's just hard to predict that they're just going to all of a sudden spread asphalt around and then bounce on you because you're having an emotional hard time, and then maybe it's a call out for help, and then all you're getting is more and more by the sociopath, and they think that now they're on top. And it's just an immature game that you're playing. You're supposed to help people around you. And you don't do it with pity. You say, oh, you start to genuinely, do you have something in yourself that you like? Maybe if you do, it's the same for another person. They have something they value within themselves too. And it's worth looking into it. Say, oh, what is it that they're protecting? Who are they? Who are they? Who are they? See, a narcissist can care less about who anybody is. And when you ask them who they are, it's a challenge. And see, what we have nowadays is just people, especially because of the information phenomena coming through, and especially about narcissism. You'll see it was years ago where you can see narcissists wanting to talk about narcissism, and they couldn't even tell you the basic traits that are very broken inside of a human being comes from, I'm telling you, nothing that I can experience. I came from a hard family, broken home, but it's nothing of the level of abuse that they are looking at. We're talking about here real live, yeah, physical, sexual, emotional, purposeful manipulation, being around just completely selfish, jealous, fucking undeveloped, stupid fucking people. You see, at least you'll have one that says, you know what, I got to remove myself from you because now I'm protecting another life here, and it's not worth it. And if anything, the healthiest thing you'll see is somebody remove themselves from that right in front of the kids. As a kid, you look at that, and usually, sometimes a lot of times it's the mom. We need to have this conversation. I left a comment on somebody's video who does very important work, and it's very important, the work, the style that he does, because he blends mythology back into it. And he says, well, this kind of, and I love the way he teaches it. He just says, this one's over here, narcissists, reptilians, the undeveloped, the fucking lizard colony. That's basically it. You want to know what's really going on here? Expand your mind a little bit. You don't take it personally. See, just because you yourself has displayed narcissistic tendencies, you were under stress, you needed help, you didn't know how to cry out for help, you started manipulating, you started lying, you started being bossy. And the problem is living within a society that is mainly the spiral down. They are permanently fucked. They're narcissists. The problem with that is that when you dip down like that, see, they don't like anybody. They don't like especially confident people. And when they see when a confident person gets down and goes, ugh, and says, well, fuck you, and does the wrong thing or something, and puts themselves in a hole, self-sabotage, whatever. It's not a permanent state for them, but the narcissist and the surrounding society, if you're not careful, that's who they are. They're like these time machines that put you in this permanent state of that just that time, and and it becomes like 300% harder to just get back up and say, no, no, I remember me. You can care less about who we are. And your fucking shitty, piss poor memory just goes for that. We're playing this game of because they feel so, and I don't want to pick on them, but see, the only way, if you have been harmed and you just had enough of it, and we had enough of it, how do you get back at them? Educate yourself and start talking about them. And it's hard. It's hard. You will feel the frequency start amplifying because they're starting to vibrate. And when I say that, babes, whatever controls, this is my work, whatever controls the entire human organism into this state of not knowing who they are as men and women here. They're following a false prophet over there. They don't even know the truth more and more. They're losing it. They don't look each other in the eye and say, yes, we got it, in microcosms. So what spreads out is a macrocosm. It's not even there anymore. It's always that feed from where? Ages old. And with the alarm going off within the human organism that is literally, it's going extinct of it's just not, it's rendered into fragments. You see, the language is there. It says self-sustain. Find out how to self-sustain. Well, that's a secret code for find out what reality is. Reality is the only thing that is like a solid stream. When you pour oil, it's a solid stream. It doesn't fragment. That's the mind of God, and that's the only dependable common sense. Believe it or not, that's our third witness party, and it's just not important for the narcissist to put that first and foremost, because because then the truth will start knocking back how they're not doing it right or something. It's like, no, and we're not we're not going to stick that you're just not doing it right. You can never do anything right. It's like, no, do you want to do it right now? Do you want to feel the reward of it? I don't know. It's like, well, what how do we make a breakthrough here? How do we make a breakthrough? All of society needs this kind of breakthrough. And unfortunately, it comes by the way of stressing, the stress. Something causes stress. Something renders down the entire uh, global population into a state of needing subconscious rewiring. That's what happened with the C-19 announcement. The subconscious wiring of the entire organism was just busted open on a collective level, and it was ready to be rewired with something. Now, now, getting back to this plasmatic field, like the universe and the cosmos and the real intelligence that is available, that's what's apt to rewire things. Um, I was going to say properly, but it's more like as long as an outer source doesn't get to it first, like what you want to listen to the main narrative now and be fed what's going on and increase in your mental illness, which a lot of people just went over the edge, right? It's still kind of happening. You saw some people, I mean, it was like they were so relieved that they told me, I'm OCD. I naturally, I've always been afraid of germs, so don't. They were trying to tell me as a friend, don't take it. I This is who I am. I'm a mental case, and this feels better. Okay, God, I didn't know. Don't impose that on me. I have an immune system, and I have a really smart mother. She had to deal with health problems all the time. I mean, everybody, mom does, and anyway, not denying that there's possibly pathogens that are being released into the air right now. The best way to avoid all illnesses is to raise your vibrational frequency. It's really hard. It's been really hard for me nowadays. I need it real in my life, and what is bound to be exposing itself more and more is just the truth. And if you want to stay well, if you want to stay content, the feeling of feeling good, you can't avoid the truth when it comes up in the Aries, the organism now. What's going to be happening when I mention the Aries? It's like when Venus goes away from Pisces. This is the feminine quality, our sensitive quality. That if it had if it had some fire behind it, which it will when it gets into Aries, we're going to see more of this divine presence that I was trying to say in the beginning. It's like, no, wait a minute. How much abuse is that side going to take before it's realized that the people that are abusing it, like fighting back against it, when they first respond, the first responders, they say, hey, don't do that. And then they go, it's just telling them no. And then the narcissist lashes back with a mob and a court date and piss. And you can tell it's not love there. You can just tell. It's like, oh, okay, got it. Uh-huh. Yeah. So now what? Anybody listening to this going to pin me to my bad qualities, or do you know how to live better than that? And say, no, actually, and you know that love changes things. It literally transforms things. A Libra's worst quality, and it's actually the good quality, is that they will make somebody see how they affected them. Say, no, it's because you're unloving that now I'm bitter and I would love. I don't know what I want to do. I just want to go break some windows or something. I'm not getting love, and maybe this will help. Maybe, no, huh? Just a human, just a human organism, just trying to get on its own. And who are you in that? Do you know how to be there for people, for yourselves when you're feeling that down? Have you ever felt that down and pulled out of it? Do you have that in you? See, this is the thing: is that narcissists don't. They're going to hit unlike right now, and they just like, they're so upset that this is actually here. At the same time, we're upset that they're there causing all this pollution and more difficulty and running for money. And it's hard to tell, right? And it's like, well, what's wrong with money? Oh, everything. What's wrong with learning a real skill and maintaining pleasurable life on this planet.